Juncos Racing will certainly be a force to be reckoned with in the 2012 Star Mazda Championship. The young California pilot Connor DeFilippi already has a win to start the new season. But he's got a worthy foil in the young Brit Jack Hawksworth, who split the opening weekend's victory lane ceremonies at St. Petersburg. Now the action moves to one of the prettiest venues in the sport, Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama. It's been a wet weekend so far. Who will be the best in today's conditions? Find out next on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. And welcome to the Mazda Motorsports Hour from Barber Motorsports Park. We're just outside Birmingham, Alabama. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. IndyCar star James Hinchcliffe is alongside. The storyline here a lot of times is this is a hard place to find your way around another driver.
It's a very difficult track, Rick, and part of the reason is this place was really designed more for motorcycles. So with formula cars, these long, fast corners, it's tough to follow. Not a lot of passing opportunities. That's going to put a lot of emphasis on qualifying. Connor DeFilippi, he was the quickest in testing here a few weeks ago, quickest in practice. So he's the guy with the target on his back. He also won race 1, but we had another winner in race 2. Maybe we can go 3 for 3 this weekend.
Let's find out more what's going on in the paddock. Here's Todd Lewis.
After the first 2 rounds of the Star Mazda Championship, Jack Hawksworth is the leader of the series. Jack, a couple of podium finishes in the first 2 rounds at St. Petersburg. I think your first 2 races in this series have gone just about as well as they could.
Yeah, it was a perfect start to the championship for us and Team Pelfrey. You know, superb way to start the year, you know, with 2 podiums, and it's really testament to all the work everybody's putting over the winter that we've, you know, I've got the opportunity to go show what I can do and, you know, show what this car can do.
I think it gives you some momentum going forward the rest of the year too, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it gives you a lot of confidence. You know, now we know we can go to, I mean, I think we feel pretty confident we can go to every track and be in the mix and be in the hunt for the top 5s and the podium. So it's a real confidence boost for everybody.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
All right, Hawksworth in that 82 car for Team Pelfrey and Connor DeFilippi in the 2 car. They're 1-2 in the championship. Hawksworth, though, with a 10-point advantage. Juan Pedro Hita, Gabi Chavez, and Petri Suvanto, the young Finn, the top 5 in points. You've got some drivers here, James, who've got a lot of experience in these cars.
Yeah, Connor DeFilippi and also Sage Karam stand out as 2 guys that are really playing the long game and going for that championship.
But Hawksworth has been very, very strong again here at Barber in a wet session. He claimed the Peak Pole Award earlier in the weekend. He'll start from the inside of row number 1. The driver will line up alongside Connor DeFilippi's teammate at Juncos in that 22 car, Martin Scuncio. Todd caught up with him earlier.
Martin Scuncio with a terrific qualifying effort. You'll start on the outside of row 1. Just told me that was your first time driving in the rain. You seem to handle it pretty well.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was the first time. I know the car was pretty good and the team did a great job, so I'm happy and it was really fun.
And now you drive in the dry conditions today, it looks like. Do you have a plan to get the lead at the start of this race?
Like everybody, if I have a good start and I get the lead, I would try to keep that for the rest of the race. Or if I keep second place, try to fight for the first place or try to finish in that position.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll hear from Martin Scuncio. We'll watch him in action here shortly. James Hinchcliffe, this is a very cool racetrack. Originally more of a test facility than a racing track.
Oh yeah, and again, like we said in the opening, it is actually designed for motorcycles. So taking a formula car around here can be quite a challenge. A lot of fast corners, and we're going to ride on board actually with your pole sitter for a lap here. A lot of elevation change. The track really falls away into turn 1. You're turning in before you even see the apex of the corner. Very slow here through turns 2 and 3, but important to get a good run out of here because this is actually the 2nd longest straightaway and it leads into the best passing opportunity. Flat over the hill into turn 4 and down into the hairpin here in turn 5. It's the biggest brake zone, best passing opportunity, 2nd gear, slowest corner on the track. But again, you want to get a good run out of here for lap time as we blast down this straightaway, heading into probably the most complicated section of the racetrack. Again, a blind entry, up over a little bit over the curb on the right here, and then a lot of curb on the left you take heading into this very slow turn 9. The track's really falling away here. The camera almost doesn't do it justice. And then it's back up through the gears, and we're going to head out into a flat out chicane, left, right, 5th gear, little bit of curb. You're really threading the needle through there, especially as the race goes on. Lots of marbles offline. And this is my favorite part of the racetrack. Again, blind entry, just a little bit of a lift, up through 12, 13, over the rise. The car gets very light, drop back down, the car compresses, the steering gets very heavy, and then this is one of the most difficult corners we race on. Turn 16 here, it's decreasing radius, it's slowing down, and then through the final corner, a little bit of banking to help you out, and you're back onto the front straight. A busy lap here at Barber Motorsport Park.
Riding with Jack Hawksworth, our fast qualifier, that Team Pelfrey entry. He's been so strong. A young driver, quite honestly, James, I had not heard much about before we got ready for this season. He's really getting a lot of people's attention, I think.
He certainly is. He won from pole in round 2 at St. Petersburg, and then we saw that he was very versatile in conditions, grabbing pole here in the wet.
And the Scuccio will start alongside Sage Karam for Andretti Autosport and Connor DiFilippi for Juncos in that second row. Some very fast guys at the sharp end of the grid. Gabby Chavez very impressive, along with Suvanto.
Again, Suvanto's a guy I've loved since the opening race. Gabby we saw on the podium in St. Petersburg. Very strong row there.
Zach Beach, the other Andretti Autosport entry, and Bruno Pali in the 15. He'll line up in the 8th position as the field moves away behind the safety car. Pedro Hida, a veteran of the series, and Menezes in 10th position in one of the other Pelfrey cars, the 83. Young driver we're just starting to get to meet here in our coverage on the Mazda Motorsports Hour. Zach Meyer, Stefan Rudzinski in the 12th starting spot in the 93, and then we'll take you back through the balance of our field. Diego Ferreira, Ashley Freiberg in one of those true car entries.
Again, a company that's putting a ton of effort into racing right now. It's great to see them supporting these young women racers.
Jeremy Daniel will start 15th in the 10. Larry Pegram, one of our expert contenders, in 16th spot. Coming to a stop, standing start, of course, as we show you the balance of the field. Carlos Linares didn't qualify very well.
No, he didn't, but again, I mean, this is going to be a long race. It's going to be about conserving tires and being there at the end, so certainly a chance to move forward.
Getting set for the standing start here at Barber Motorsports Park. Let's talk a little bit about what we'll see here today.
Well, here are the Mazda keys to the race. And the first one we just mentioned was saving the tires for the end. No pit stops in the Star Mazda series. It's going to be about conserving these tires for the long duration corners. Setting up out of turn 3 for turn 5, which is the best passing opportunity. And of course, let's get physical. This is by far the most physical racetrack. Those high G corners, like I said, the steering gets heavy. It's going to be very demanding on these young drivers.
Just before we get underway, guys, I had to mention, it is rare to see so many serious faces on so many young people. Most of these Star Mazda Championship drivers are teenagers, but they very much had their game face on just prior to the start of this race. They're focused on the task. Of course, this race was rain delayed. They'll be doing a doubleheader today. It's going to be very interesting to see how aggressive some of these drivers are heading towards the finish of this race.
And Todd nails it just there, because with the doubleheader, you don't have time to fix the car, so guys might be a little bit conservative in race 1.
This is IndyCar race day at Barber, the second event of the weekend. These are doubleheader weekends. Will come after the IndyCar checkered flag later today because of the weather problems. Lights moving up, will go green, and here we go at Barber.
And a great start from Hawksworth. He goes to defend. Scuccio looking, and a challenge down the inside from Sage Karam.
Karam gets by and takes second spot as they head out of turn number 1. Great move. The start's so critical in these races.
It really is, and those standing starts really put an emphasis on the driver. It's all about that feel, releasing the clutch, feeling the grip in the tires, and we see DiFilippi losing a position.
DiFilippi in that 2 car, of course, won one of the races at St. Petersburg just a week ago. Action all over the place here at Barber Motorsports Park. To the inside, Scuccio trying to move back into second spot.
And Gabby Chavez around the outside of turn 5. That is a bold move, but he executed it perfectly, and he slots into third with now Sage Karam in his sights.
Here comes Chavez trying to make a move on Karam for second spot as DiFilippi tries to get back into the hunt as well. Connor DiFilippi did not qualify particularly well. Certainly not a good start for him.
No, he is losing positions. He's fallen quite a ways back, but Jack Hawksworth from the pole is pulling away nicely. He's got Sage Karam in his mirrors, but not at striking distance just yet.
2 Juncos teammates, Scuccio and DiFilippi, fighting for 4th. On board Suvanto, the Replay XD on board cameras here. Car number 81, one of the Team Pelfrey entries. You get a sense of just how hard these guys have to work.
And again, this is the most physical part of the racetrack. The fastest corner is the elevation, and him following that closely to Zach Beach there in the Andretti Autosport car, you know he's got a good car underneath him, because in that faster corner to be that close, Petri could be on a charge here.
Onto the front straightaway, completing lap number 1. If you're Sage Karam, you've got to be mindful, I think, of how quick Hawksworth is. You can't let him get out there too far.
Well, no, but certainly he also has to be conscious of the fact that if his car's maybe not as quick at this stage of the race, conserve those tires a bit. Maybe a yellow comes out and that huge advantage. Oh, we've got a spin, turn 1.
The 21 car of Camilo Schmidt goes around for the Linares team. He's off in the gravel trap. We'll see if he can get going now. What does that do to your tires?
That's not great for the tires, but and maybe a challenge here for position is that Scuccio trying to get back at Gabby Chavez.
Side by side up the hill, but Scuncio unable to get the job done. It'll still be Chavez in third.
And just look at that lead that Hawksworth has pulled out. That's what I'm saying. He might have the better car right now as we look at a replay of Camilo Schmidt into turn one. Just loses the back end on entry there, and it's so easy to do as the track goes downhill. It falls away, the car gets light, and just caught him out there.
He was able to get the car refired, but in that gravel trap, the tires already heated up. You pick up a lot of gravel there. That's going to take him a while to clean that off for 8th. Veach and Menezes in the 83 going at it.
And that means that Savanto's already got by Veach, so he's falling down a little bit. He's become a victim. He's in a little bit of a Pelfrey sandwich at the minute, and he's coming under attack from Menezes.
Into one of the right-handers here, heading to the front straightaway at Barber Motorsports Park. Turned out to be a beautiful day for racing. We had a lot of rain in the area. Now hot weather about to ensue here, I think, on this Sunday afternoon.
It's a great day for motor races, Jackie Stewart would say.
No question about that. James, I've always heard that Barber Motorsports Park is a place where momentum is critical to your success. Is that right?
It certainly is. Like, again, we keep talking about these long, fast corners, but it is just everything about the character of this racetrack. You get in a little bit slow because the corners are so long. That time is lost the whole way through. So it really is key as we watch this battle for 6th position.
Bruno Pali there in the orange, red, and white machine, the 15 car, trying to take the measure of one of the Pelfrey machines for this position.
And we're heading into to turn 7 here. This is not a side-by-side corner. Someone's got to give.
Whoa.
And there you go. A little bit wide, lots of curve. It's a very exciting part of the racetrack, and we're riding on board now with Bruno Pali as he tries to chase him back down.
Our Replay XD onboard cameras doing a great job here at Barber. Right, then left, then right again. And now this straightaway, you said this is a great passing place.
This is a tough passing place. It's the second longest straightaway, but it's a very fast corner we're leading into.
Fans enjoying the action here at Barber Motorsports Park, the Star Mazda Championship. We'll be right back. One of the prettiest backdrops for racing anywhere in the world here at Barber Motorsports Park. George Barber, who started this place several years ago, obviously a fancier of art of all kinds, some incredible sculpture and scenery around this facility. Let's check in downstairs with Todd Lewis.
The A Motorsports team continues to work on the front nose cone of Zach Meyer. Obvious contact. He lost the right side of the front wing. They've got the top of the bodywork off. The front wing has been replaced. Now they're going to get Zach Meyer back out. Boy, this has been a steep learning curve for this rookie in the Star Mazda Championship.
James, you mentioned before, 30 minutes, standing start, no time to make a pit stop. If you have something happen like this, it's hard to battle back.
It really is. It's an unfortunate situation for the young Canadian. You know, as it said, it's been a difficult start to the season, but, you know, he's young, he's learning, he's with a very good team in A Motorsports, so now for him it's about getting some more track time and just getting some more experience under his belt.
Certainly the way as well as we check the battle for 4th between Scuncio and Connor DeFilippi. The young American Zach Veach, just 17 years of age, part of Andretti Autosport. A multi-talented young man. He's written a book already, in fact made an appearance on Oprah Winfrey's television program, and he started a new campaign. We're hearing a lot about bullying and the battle against bullying. Todd Lewis caught up with Zach earlier to talk about that fight.
You know, I've always wanted to use racing as a platform to reach out and just get to reach a lot of other people and kind of spread a message. And, you know, it's very important to me with no texting while driving and anti-bullying, because I was bullied when I was going through public school. And, you know, I've kind of made a difference in a lot of people's lives, and that's very rewarding.
Because you were a victim, does that help it make it more relatable to kids when you talk to them?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of kids, you know, wouldn't think that I was bullied because I'm driving a race car, but before this, I was just some 4'8", 80-pound kid trying to make it through 7th and 8th grade. So I know what it's like and how embarrassing it is at times, that you really just don't want to speak out about it. And the noble challenge is a bunch of kids making videos showing them that we're speaking out against anti-bullying, so you should as well.
And Zach Veach certainly with a lot on his plate, but he's got a lot of great ideas, I think, for you.
I mean, it's a noble cause for a 17-year-old kid to be taking on something like that. It's very commendable. Not only a great racing driver, but obviously it's a philanthropist, a great human being.
Battle for 4th and 5th continues to rage. Scuncio in the 22, the orange and white machine, and his teammate Connor DeFilippi there in the 2 car. When you get teammates fighting over a position, what sorts of elements do you run into, James?
There's only one. Don't hit him. That's the golden rule in racing. Do not hit your teammate under any circumstance. But the pressure really is on DeFilippi right now, because the guy he is battling with in the championship is leading this race. He knows he needs to make as many spots up and get as many points as possible here.
Now, Connor DeFilippi has been part of the Mazda Road to Indy, the Mazda Speed Driver Development Ladder for several years. Third year in Star Mazda. It's almost a make it or break it season for him.
It is and it isn't. I mean, the thing about racing these days is everybody rushes. It's the one thing when I get asked, what's the biggest piece of advice you can give me? It's do not rush it. And I love that he's back for a third year. He's still very young. He's got the time to develop these skills, but certainly your third year in the series, you want to be contending for the championship.
Now, in his situation, as he chases his teammate here, he's got a win under his belt, but he's just barely in the top 5 at age 19. Is that starting to weigh on his mind at all, or is it all about today?
You'd like to hope it's all about today. I know he's thinking long game. He wants to win the championship for the Juncos team as we watch his team owner very, very enthralled in the race right now. But, you've got to take these races one day at a time. You can't think too far in the future.
Check back in on that battle for 7th and 8th. Bruno Pali there in the 15. Gustavo Menezes in the 83. Nose to tail in one of the faster parts of this racetrack.
Yeah, which means Menezes is on a hunt. He definitely smells blood here. He's trying to go. We even saw Pali get a little bit sideways through 7 and 8 there. Oh, Zach Veach is around.
Veach spins, gets it onto the curbing. We'll see if he can stay running. He does keep the car rolling. Gets it back in gear and pointed in the right direction. How do you recover from something like that when you're a young guy?
It really is just all about putting your head down. You got to brush it off as quickly as possible. I mean, obviously, this is going to put him down from where he was, but as we take a little bit of a replay here, it's Petrojita in front of him. This is a tough passing opportunity. Petrojita closes the door, loses it early, through the dirt, and then just dirt on the tires, and he was going to go around no matter what.
Now, that's a great learning experience for Zach Veach if he uses it that way.
And absolutely, and that's what you have to do. I mean, he was not quite far enough alongside it for that particular corner, and, you pay the price, but you have to learn these things. That's what this series is all about. So, I commend him on trying it.
Now, you've got a situation, obviously, spec engines, spec tires, spec race cars. Not a lot of difference in performance here. It's really about your driving skill, your ability to set somebody up and make that.
Absolutely, and part of it as a driver, you're trying to get your personality out there. You're trying to let people know who you are on the racetrack. So Zach wanted to know, hey, look, I saw a little bit of a gap and I went for it. And that's an important thing for other drivers to see you do as well.
Menezes there looked like he had seen a gap on entry into that corner, but didn't quite have enough room to make the move.
No, but he is still there. He has got Bruno Pali's mirrors absolutely filled with that yellow pelfrey cars. You see the dirt that Zach Veach brought all over the racetrack, just making that line even narrower for these drivers.
Pali in the 15 trying to hang on to that spot. Menezes fighting him hard, looking for a way around here.
It's all about setting the guy in front of you up at this racetrack because there are so few passing opportunities.
Beautiful place to come and watch an event, though. Hawksworth dominating from a pole qualifying effort as the Star Mazda Championship rolls on. More to come. Welcome back to Barber Motorsports Park, the Mazda Motorsports Hour. I'm Rick Benjamin. James Hinchcliffe is alongside. Gustavo Menezes taking us for a ride here. Our Replay XD camera is giving you beautiful images of this fantastic race course. Todd Lewis has our coverage on pit road. This battle's been going on almost since the lights came green.
Absolutely, and you've got to give Bruno Pali some credit. He's resisted the pressure up to now, but this might be it. A little bit of wheel lock, but he cannot pull off the high-low, so Menezes pulls that one off textbook.
Now, in that situation, if you're Pali, you're thinking, I'll get him on exit. Didn't quite work out that way.
Well, no, Gustavo saw that coming. He slowed the car up enough, and he blocked the inside line on the exit, so that's great. He'll be able to just open this gap now and try and run down the next car.
Now, for Menezes, it's all about, can I get away from Pali quickly here and try to reel him in? You need a full-course yellow to get some help as we check back in on one of the other tight battles. The two Juncos cars, Scucio in the 22 and Connor DiFilippi in the 2 car, and he's got his hands full.
And not unlike the battle we were just watching, as we're back on board now with Petri Savanto, who's caught up to DiFilippi. DiFilippi clearly quicker than his teammate in front of him, but just unable to find a way by. So he's got to be patient and set this up.
You said patient. That's one of the key words in racing. I think a lot of people overlook that. You've got to look for your opportunity and not let yourself get too just caught up in the moment.
There's such a careful balance between patience and aggression, and when you only have a 30-minute time race like we do here in the Star Mazda Series, that line gets blurred sometimes, and we think we saw that maybe out of Zach Veach.
Yeah.
Whereas with Menezes, he really took his time, he set up Pali perfectly, and he pulled off a nice clean pass.
Great fight here. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. 4th, 5th, and 6th really in play at the moment. As we watch some of the action up ahead, you've got second and third not far away. So really, after Hawksworth, you've got 5 spots very much in play.
Absolutely. It would only take one little mistake from either Sage Karam or Gabby Chavez running in second and third there. But I got to just throw a little bit of a shout out to Sage. He had a terrible opening weekend in St. Petersburg by his own admission. All sorts of things going wrong, mechanical problems, driver error. So for him to be bouncing back and in a potential podium position here, that's a great comeback for him.
It is a long season in Star Mazda. Start racing in March. We race all the way up until the fall into October to settle this championship. All right, Mr. Hinchcliffe, you've been in these cars. You raced in this series. We wanted to get your impressions of what a Star Mazda machine is like now. How did that turn out?
Well, why don't you take a look?
So now we're going to show you guys a little bit about the inside of the cockpit of the Star Mazda car, and to do that, we came to AIM Autosport. And AIM Autosport, this is the team that I drove Star Mazda for back in 2005. And this man right here, Stevie was actually one of my mechanics. Stevie, how are you, man?
Good, thanks. Jim, how are you?
I'm good, man. Good to see you. Now, what we want to do is we want to get me inside one of these cars here and sort of give the people a tour around the cockpit. Is it cool if I hop in one of my old cars?
Are you kidding? We had a whole year of you in 2005, and we swore when you left us that we would never let you back in this car again. So I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, man, it was tough. That was a tough season with you.
I guess we'll try somebody else. Maybe the guys at Team Pelfrey here will let me in a car. What? Not even allowed in the tent? Unbelievable! What did a guy do to deserve this? I don't get it. I mean, I'm an IndyCar driver. Why won't they let me just sit in it? Hey man, you're my last hope here. I hate to bother you, but do you think maybe I could get inside the cockpit, show the guys around a little bit?
No chance.
I don't know why we didn't come here first. It's Andretti Autosport, which is my own team. So this won't be a problem at all. So obviously this is the car here. I'm just gonna jump in here real quick and show you guys the first.
No!
What?
Get out!
We're on the same. I thought that we.
Out of here!
I mean,
No
I don't
love
know
at all.
I don't know what to tell you. I was floored. So as much as I'd love to tell you about the inside of a Star Mazda car, I just can't do it.
Now, as we watch the battle for ninth, Ferreira and Bruno Pali here, the battle engaged again. Did you go to the boss? Did you go to Michael and say, hey, what's the deal? I need a few minutes in one of these cars?
I feel like Michael's got bigger things on his plate than me wanting to sit in one of his Star Mazda cars. So unfortunately, I didn't get in.
How about the speed we're seeing from young Jack Hawksworth here? We were very impressed with him at St. Petersburg. He's taken to this place unbelievably quickly.
Again, he's learning all these tracks for the first time, so it's super impressive. Good conditions, bad conditions, all different tracks.
The 19th car there running in third position. Of course, that's the car of Gabby Chavez trying to get close to Sage Karam. Karam doing a terrific job.
He really is. Like I said, bouncing back from a rough start in St. Pete, but we saw some tremendous speed out of this young kid. Last year, he took some wins, and now it's just all about consistency. So for him, you know, he's not making mistakes. He's not throwing it off in pursuit of Hawksworth. He's thinking to himself, hey, I've got a second-place car today. Let's finish that. Let's take those points and get this championship challenge back on track.
Cycle back a little further in the field. Bruno Pali seems to have some handling difficulties. Stefan Rudzinski starting to reel him in the 93.
Yeah, he keeps falling back with the young Canadian, the next guy looking to attack, driving for JDC's, a talented young kid coming out of Edmonton. Oh, and a big lockup from Pali. This could give Stefan a chance.
Pali way offline going into the corner as we get back on board the 15 car. He seemed to have a push coming off the corner the last couple of times we watched it.
Coming out of turn 3, he had a big understeer. And of course, that's when you're turning the wheel and the front wheels just aren't turning. The car just keeps going straight.
Speaking of problems, one of the Andretti Autosport youngsters having some difficulties as well. Let's get an update. Here's Todd.
That's right. The Andretti Autosports team keeping a close eye on Zach Veach in that number 77 car. He had the problem off the start. He's fallen back to 15th, and that car is running hot. They're telling him to keep an eye on it. They just told me they may have to bring him in if it doesn't get any better.
And that could very well be a function of that off-track excursion we saw him have. When you go off-track and through the dirt, you get all this dirt and rubbish accumulating in the radiators. It blocks them off, and it makes the engines run a little bit over the ideal temperature.
One of the other GDT cars, that's Andre Mendez in the 53 now, and Veach right behind him.
And that's not helping because he's not running in clean, cool air. He's running in dirty, hot air coming off the back of the 53 car, which we see struggling a little bit there for grip.
Watch him dive into the right-hander and come to the front straightaway one more time here at Barber. And Veach in that 77 needs to try to get by the 53, but he seems to be off the pace.
The other thing he could do is when he's behind him on a straightaway is actually pull out of the draft, which obviously is not what you want to do if you're trying to pass a car, but for the sake of saving the engine, it'll get some nice fresh air into the radiators and maybe try and cool it down a little bit.
A Replay XD onboard look there as we take a look ahead from Veach's machine, and he's at least lost the draft on the 53.
And you could even see out of turn 3 there, he got a bit wide, picked up some marbles, and you could see them still on his tire. It gave you a good sense of how long it takes to clean these tires off after you get offline.
Still the battle for 10th and 11th raging on. Polly there in the red, white, and orange 15 car. Stefan Rudzinski in the JDC car, the 93 right behind him. And Polly still fighting that car on exit.
Yeah, this is what we talked about, tires at the end of the race, and his are just no longer holding up, unfortunately.
Drivers had seen the cross flags last time by, so we're just past halfway, and Jack Hawksworth continues to be flawless in that Team Pelfrey car.
And the only thing that could ruin his Sunday drive right now is a full course caution.
Karam, Chavez, Martin Scuncio, and Di Filippi, your top 5. Back with more at Barber. Welcome back to the Mazda Motorsports Hour with James Hinchcliffe. I'm Rick Benjamin. Todd Lewis on pit road. A great place to come here at Barber Motorsports Park. Fans enjoying the classic cars, the amusements, the food. Boy, they come here in large numbers to enjoy IndyCar weekend, James.
Well, it's just such a great event. The weather's held off on race day here, so it's such a cool atmosphere. People come, they sit up on the grass. It's a beautiful place to be and a great place to watch a race.
And watching a fantastic battle here for second. Gabby Chavez in the 19, the blue car, trying to chase down the Andretti Autosport 88 of Sage Karam. He's had that second position since the green lights came on.
Yeah, he had a great start, slotted into second place there, but he really hasn't had a ton of breathing room because Gabby's been right behind him.
But Sage Karam doing a great job, I think, laying down some very nice laps, extending that advantage just a little bit, and preparing himself really for another step on the Mazda Speed Motorsports Development Ladder. Our Climbing the Ladder feature today takes a look inside Andretti Autosport, a team that's very committed to the road to Indy that Mazda has prepared this season. Karam and Zach Veach leaning on each other as they take that next step.
Yeah, I mean, the Road to Indy ladder system is just awesome. It actually helps young drivers get to where they want to be. And, you know, back a few years ago, there was no path to get to IndyCar. And now every driver here has an assigned path that they can do to get where they want to be.
We're developing the stars of the future here, and you know, I want to be a part of that. I want to support it any way I can because I really believe in it, and I think we're the only team out there that supports every level of it. And we see in our gang of guys, we have a lot of talent, so we're looking at a lot of the future right now.
Being with a team with Andretti Autosport, it kind of gives me and my teammate an edge. So we have the experience of all the drivers and the ladder systems to kind of go to and collaborate with about tracks and series. And we have help from Michael Andretti as well. So it really makes it nice at the end of the day.
Yeah, and even though they wouldn't let me in their race car, it's true. I do, you know, I chat with Zach and Sage quite a bit on a race weekend, and, you know, we have our 2000 drivers and then obviously the Indy Lights drivers as well. So it's not only incredible to see what Mazda's done with this ladder, with this program, but also the commitment, like, as you said, that Andretti Autosport has done to having one of the, at least one car. I think they've got at least two cars now on every single rung of the ladder.
I think it's impressive, and it gives these drivers something to shoot for. And you know, when you were coming along, you were in Star, and then you were in the Atlantic Series, which doesn't even exist anymore, and then ready to take that move to Indy Lights and IndyCar. Finally, to have something to aspire to is really important.
One of the biggest decisions I had to make every single winter was which series do I drive in next season? And it was a very difficult decision. You're trying to figure out where the competition's going to be, who's going to see you, what the TV package is, this, that, and the other. And this just takes all that guesswork out of the equation. I'm insanely jealous that these young drivers have this opportunity and this clear path.
And that's why you have drivers like Bruno Pali and Stefan Rudzinski from different countries who come here to contest the Star Mazda Championship and try to take that next step up the ladder.
It draws everybody in, and what you end up creating is you end up creating three very competitive series. There's not going to be a series where the talent didn't show up or it's split between two different levels. All the drivers of any given level, whether it's the entry level, the Star Mazda level, nearly to IndyCar at the Indy Lights level, they're all going to be in that series fighting for that championship and fighting for that chance to move up to the next step on the ladder.
Bruno Pali in the 15 has really been fighting that race car as he tries to hang on to 10th position. Meantime, Jack Hawksworth with 13 laps on the board, probably starting to have those thoughts about, okay, what can go wrong here? Not what do I need to do right?
I think the big thing for him is control the pace. He's got an incredibly big gap now. He needs to make sure that if a caution does come out, he's still got something left in that race car for Sage Karam. So conserve the tires a bit and just control the pace of the race.
Let's get an update on that fight for second spot. Todd Lewis has been watching things from pit road.
Sage Karam talked about it prior to the start of the race. He said whoever has the best rear tires in the late stages, that would be beneficial to them. Sage Karam under fire right now from Gabi Chavez. Which one of these two drivers has better rear tires? That's the driver that may wind up in second place.
This is a very intelligent comment from Sage. He must have got that from me when I was talking to him before the race started. No, again, I mean, this just shows the kid knows what he's talking about. He's an experienced driver still being so young. But obviously there's a train of cars starting to form behind him. Maybe Chavez has a little bit better tires at this stage.
Well, tire management, one of those skills you have to learn as an open wheel driver, as a race driver of any sort. But in this situation where you're on a spec tire and you've got a half an hour to work with here, you've got to really develop that seat of the pants feel to know what the tires are doing.
Absolutely. Just another one of the things that you pick up when driving these cars. We ride on board with Gabi Chavez here. I got to say, Sage is doing a great job hanging on to it because he is under tremendous pressure and has been almost since the start of this race. So to be controlling the pace of his car, maybe he's purposely not pushing too hard. As we see, I think it's Rosinski finally getting by Bruno Pali on the inside of turn 5, and Pali's going to fight back on the outside.
We've seen a lot of action at 5, that inside-out move. These two have swapped this position, at least at this corner, a couple of times here today.
But Rosinski's going to have the line into turn 7, sorry. It's going to be hard for Pali to fight back, and now Ashley Freiberg's coming into the mix.
A three-way battle for 10th taking shape here as the laps wind down at Barber Motorsports Park. And for second, Gabi Chavez trying to find a way around Sage Karam, who's run up front in the second spot since the drop of the green.
And again, he's not making any mistakes. It looks like maybe Gabi's a tiny bit quicker, and it's so easy at this point for Sage to be looking in his mirrors and driving backwards rather than looking forwards. But he's being very heads up. He's not making mistakes. As we see Ashley Freiberg now off the final corner, maybe taking a look into turn 1, not quite close enough.
Can you do this? Can you pass going into the left-hander in turn 1?
You can, but you really have to be alongside them because it's such a quick entry. As Pali drops some wheels heading into 2, this might create an opportunity out of 3. He is really struggling with that race car.
Ashley Freiberg in the blue and white True Car entry trying to get to the inside and complete the pass. She might have it.
Side by side through the flat-out turn 4. She'll be on the outside for the hairpin, but that might actually work for her. Maybe she can pull off the high-low. Getting on the power there. Pali got a good run out of the corner. She's not going to get it done this time.
Team Pelfrey watching their young British driver Jack Hawksworth, who is on his way perhaps to a wire-to-wire victory in Alabama.
After each Star Mazda Championship event, cars are subject to random inspection, and it's a very thorough inspection by the Star Mazda officials. You see them taking a fuel sample from one of the cars at one of the races here at Barber Motorsports Park now. That's to make sure that nothing has been added to the fuel to help increase performance. Of course, the Mazda rotary engine, they'll make sure that that remains intact. No unallowed modifications have been made to the Mazda rotary engine, and the Mazda officials will then go over the entire car. In fact, the teams don't even know what parts are going to be subject to inspection prior to the race. They can look at the bodywork, they can look at all of the suspension, make sure all of the wings fall within the series specifications. They will even weigh the driver with their helmet and make sure that the overall weight of the car with and without fuel is within inspection. It's all to keep the Star Mazda Championship as safe and competitive as possible for each of the competitors.
Yeah, it's all about just being fair. You know, this is a series about the drivers and developing the talent. What they don't want is some car advantage really, skewing the results. So it's a huge amount of effort from the Star Mazda series to make sure that all these cars are as equal as possible.
Very valuable championship, of course, part of the Mazda Speed Driver Development Ladder, the Mazda Road to Indy. Winner here, the season champion, gets that funded ride into Indy Lights next year, ready to take that final step up to IndyCar, hopefully in a season or 2. Fight raging for second. Sage Karam in the red 88 trying to hang on here, but Chavez takes the outside look, and he's got to open the door here.
Scunzio now trying to get into the fight, and this is great stuff. I mean, now Sage is really under fire. He had to defend into turn 5 for the first time. He's lost sights of Jack Hawksworth. That is not his concern. His concern now is holding on to that second position, and they are making it very difficult for him.
Sage Karam through the downhill section, right, left, right, and out onto one of the straight stretches, a short straightaway here at Barber. Lap traffic is coming up soon.
And this is actually a very difficult situation for Gabi Chavez. He's been sitting behind Sage. He's been trying to set it up, but now it's allowed Scunzio to come up behind him, so he's trying to drive, not only look looking forwards, attacking, but also trying to defend. As we see his car getting a little loose there, up the hill, car getting light. You can see the corrections. These tires are starting to wear out. There's no time left to conserve. It's time to throw everything on the table and try and get those last few points.
Our Replay XD onboard look there from Gabi Chavez's machine. Now, Gabi had a lot of steering wheel going back and forth. You don't want to be that active with the wheel, do you?
You really do not. I mean, they say loose is fast. I don't know where this term came from, but that's not what you want around Barber Motorsports Park. You want a solid car underneath you. As we see Connor DeFilippi now joining this battle. The 2nd through 5th is really heating up in the dying moments of this race.
Sconcio for Juncos Racing, the orange and white car. DeFilippi in the green and white Juncos entry. And you mentioned don't wreck your teammate. But if you're DeFilippi, I got to think the frustration's been building back there for the whole day.
It certainly has. As we see an attempt, he looks down the inside. Gabi Chavez, that's going to give Sconcio an opportunity, but he shuts the door on the exit. That's going to give Sage a little bit of breathing room now, heading down into turn 7. This is great, and this is a really mature drive from Sage Karam. I'm super impressed. Also very impressed with Gabi Chavez. He's come back to the U.S. Oh, no!
DeFilippi way offline.
Round 1 winner goes into the dirt. That's going to let Petri Suvanto maybe have a run at him.
Suvanto in the Pelfrey car back there. His teammate has led all the way. That's Suvanto in the yellow machine. Try to reel in Connor DeFilippi and pick up maybe a top 5 finishing spot.
Going to go a little bit of a replay here. He gets it. It's a little bit high. You can see the understeer gets onto the grass there. Luckily, he didn't have what happened to Zach Beach. He did not go around, but now there could be some dirt in his radiators, and the engine could start overheating on that car.
Late going action here at Barber Motorsports Park. First of a doubleheader weekend for the Star Mazda competitors here at Barber. IndyCar weekend, of course, in the state of Alabama. 2nd race weekend of the year. Now, these teams have a good break in the schedule before going to the Oval at Lucas Oil Raceway in suburban Indianapolis. That's a short track. That's a 5/8 of a mile oval. First of 2 oval rounds for these guys.
And that's, again, what's such a cool part of IndyCar racing, of Indy Lights racing, of Star Mazda racing, of USF 2000 racing. We run on all different types of tracks, street tracks, road tracks, ovals, and these guys are going to get their first oval race of the season. It's so exciting. It's super cool racing. I know a lot of these drivers are really excited to get to that first oval round.
Just a couple of laps left. This is a timed event, of course, and we're getting to the end here at Barber Motorsports Park, and Jack Hawksworth has not put a wheel wrong, but you've got to be impressed. You've mentioned Sage Karam, your Andretti Autosport mate there, and the 88 cars did a great job. Absolutely.
Like I said, it's been a very mature drive from him, and I was cut off earlier when Connor decided to give us some excitement there, but I was saying Gabi Chavez, you know, he's come back to the U.S. after racing over in Europe for a couple years. It's his first season in these cars, and he's been right on the pace. No preseason testing, so very impressed with him, but not quite as impressed, I think, as we all are with this young man right here.
Unheralded coming in at Team Pelfrey this season from Great Britain. Talk about pace. He's had perfect pace again in this event.
And again, even going back to round 1, you know, he was still super quick. He finished 2nd, but he was within fighting distance of Connor DeFilippi at the end of the race there as he takes the white flag just 2.4 miles to his 2nd consecutive Star Mazda Series victory.
Hawksworth with open racetrack in front of him has not put a wheel wrong. We've seen a lot of guys fight oversteer, understeer at various points. Hawksworth, his line's been terrific all day long. Let's get on board here, the Replay XD camera with race leader Jack Hawksworth.
And I'll tell you, this is the longest lap of a driver's life. You see lap traffic in front. He knows he's just got to make it a couple more miles, and this victory's him. And I just got to tell you, the young Yorkshireman has been doing such a good job.
Up through the gears one final time. There's a lap car in front, but it probably will not be a factor. Look at the distance between the race leader and Sage Karam, who's still got his hands full.
And that's unheard of. I mean, you've got these cars that are so equal. You've got races that are only 30 minutes in length. To see a gap like that is so rare. This has truly been a clinic by Jack Hawksworth, but also from Sage Karam to hold on to this 2nd position, to keep these cars behind him. The best passing opportunity on the lap is already behind him. He only has a few corners to go to salvage a strong 2nd place.
Is he thinking defense then at this point?
100% defense. It's making no mistakes. He can even be a little bit cautious because there are no good passing opportunities left. But this man, there was no opportunity for anybody to challenge him. He leaves the lap car in front of him, comes off the last corner, down to the wall, finger in the air, cruises across the line. Stellar drive from Jack Hawksworth.
Hands off the wheel to accept the checkered flag. Hawksworth from Great Britain in the 82 car for Team Pelfrey leads wire to wire in the first of our doubleheader events this weekend at Barber Motorsports Park. And Hawksworth stamping himself as a definite contender for the championship and the Mazda Speed Scholarship to Indy Lights. Back at Barber Motorsports Park, a dominant performance today by Jack Hawksworth, as perfect a show as you could put on for these fans. Let's meet the winner. Here's Todd.
Well, he's got the helmet off now, and the smile is back on his face again. I know you won't say it was easy, Jack Hawksworth, but it looked like an easy Sunday drive out there.
Well, I had a really good car. You know, we pulled off. We had a plan and we executed it. That's all you can do on a Sunday. And I was able to get a good gap at the start, which is what enabled me to control the race really. And it looks like our tyres stayed in well at the end as well, so we were able to just keep it, eking it out. And no, great job from Team Pelfrey. You know, all the sponsors, Oakley, Togo and Swiss, Justice Brothers. You know, brilliant job. EXA Networks and everybody. You know, without the team, without the car, you know, the results like that are possible. But great day, great day.
Congratulations, 2 wins in a row for Jack Hawksworth.
It's funny, Todd, there's no such thing as an easy Sunday drive. Doesn't matter if you win by 30 seconds. It's hard work out there.
And he did work hard, you can tell that, but what a fantastic effort for Jack Hawksworth, a guy I'm sure we're going to be discussing all season long. He defeats Karam, Chavez, Scuncio, and Di Filippi, your top 5. Suvanto and Menezes, Pedrohita in 8th. Diego Ferreira 9th, and Stefan Rodzinski gets 10th in front of Ashley Freiberg. That was a good fight for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
It was, and it went all the way to the end. I mean, these positions were being fought till the last lap, and that's the kind of racing you want to see.
All right, so that's the way they come across the line here at Barber. Let's talk to our runner-up.
A nice bounce back for Sage Karam, who has a podium finish. I know you'd like to finish 1 spot better, but this was a good race for you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, the team did an awesome job here, and just to bounce back from St. Pete, I mean, that was our main goal. And, you know, I mean, last week I don't think anybody thought we'd be standing second on the podium here. So, you know, I'm real thrilled. We have a little bit of work to do for race 2, but I have a lot of confidence in my team, and I'm sure they can get this thing going.
Well done.
Thanks.
He doesn't look thrilled.
He looks a bit disappointed, doesn't he? But you know what? That's a racer. I mean, it's a great result, but it's not a win.
Second is first loser to summon this sport. All right, let's talk to our 3rd place runner today here at Barber Motorsports Park.
Gabby Chavez, I know you gave Sage Karam all you could, but just couldn't quite get by him.
Yeah, I did. I mean, you know, I started 5th. I had a really good and aggressive first lap, and I was in the top 3, and then I was really pushing to get around Sage. You know, Sage made no mistakes to, you know, and gave me any opportunities to get by. I gave him a couple of runs, and, you know, there might have been a little bit more that I could have tried, but it's too early in the championship to be risking it. So for now, it's just points, and towards the end, we'll see if we can get better positions.
Smart podium finish for Gabby Chavez.
Off to a great start, cashes in with a 3rd place run. Now, let's show you the other half of the doubleheader this weekend. Late in the afternoon on Sunday, round 4 of this year's championship here at Barber. Lights go green, field takes off. On board with Martin Scuncio on lap number 3. Quick move to get around Jack Hawksworth, and Scuncio takes off.
Cannot tell you how difficult to pass it was in that corner. That was brilliant stuff, Jack. Not expecting it at all.
Just want to thank Juncos Racing. They gave me an awesome car. I couldn't ask for better. I think that was the car was amazing, and I just had to drive it. Thank you so much.
So Martin Scuncio plenty happy to get the victory. Jack Hawksworth also on the podium, as was Connor Di Filippi, in the second half of the doubleheader weekend here at Barber Motorsports Park. There's your top 10. Pedrohita 4th, Chavez 5th, Suvanto comes home in 6th. Zach Beach recovers from his troubles in the morning event and comes home with a 10th place finish. Beautiful place to go racing. We take a look at the championship after 4 races. Look at Hawksworth. He's got almost a 30-point advantage.
It's a huge lead this early in the season, but it is this early in the season. It's important to make sure you keep your eye on the prize.
Oval track racing coming up next. We'll have the coverage for you from Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis on the weekend of the Indy 500. Some drivers disappointed with what went on at Barber. Others have to be very pleased. Some, it was just a matter of survival, and it was a wild one. For James Hinchcliffe and Todd Lewis, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for watching the Mazda Motorsports Hour.